Hey guys, how's it going? A massive warm welcome back to our podcast right here on Unit 16. I believe this is episode 6 of Let's Chat. This is actually our final episode already of 2023. Now, before we get into everything, we're just going to go over a couple of, a bit of a roundup, I guess, essentially, of the year before we get into talking about some cool tech of the year, our top 5 TVs of 2023, our top 5 headphones, and also speakers. And just have a bit of a chat, a bit of a recap about everything that's kind of gone on at Smart Home and also here on the podcast. So
it's been a good year, 2023 has, for new release, hasn't it? So there's a lot to talk about. I think I looked earlier and we've done just over 60 videos on the channel this year.
Wow.
So we've reviewed a lot of tech. Some of that's comparisons. We've done TVs, headphones. The Era stuff was big stuff earlier in the year.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't know is even though we review 60 products, 60 videos, we actually review a lot more than that, but we just don't include it on the channel. So I think, it gives us a good basis to make a...
Yeah, any new products we get in from Smart Home Sound's point of view, we kind of test out. We also are going to maybe think about doing a monthly video covering things like that. So maybe not full dedicated reviews, but can shout out some of the stuff we've been testing in the office just to give you guys as much information as we can about new products in the market.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of that's something that I'm definitely passionate about, because we do get a lot of products like come past the office and a lot of things that we're testing all the time, but we just don't physically have the kind of time to review everything. So we've got to kind of pick and choose. So it'd be cool to kind of create some sort of smaller, more dedicated videos where we can kind of cover a lot of these other products that we don't quite get to mention in full detail. But I think as a result of your guys' support, and again, those sort of 60 videos that we did this year, we have finally hit 100K, and the plaque is in the background. It has appeared in the background of a couple of videos on the main channel. So again, a massive thank you to you guys for your continued support on that one. And I think really big news, we also did our first TV ad, which was really, really exciting. Something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think it was nice how we kept it sort of unique to us as well. So for anyone who hasn't watched it, it is on our YouTube channel, and we'll put a link in the description. But obviously the concept to the music we used, everything was sort of had a story around, which was really good. So I think
we used local artists. We kept it all in house. We didn't outsource any of it. We tried to use members of the team in the ad. If people weren't from our team, they were people we knew. So we tried to keep it as local as we could for us to make it feel quite authentically SHS for us.
Yeah.
But if you guys are just joining us on this channel for the first time, it's the first time you're finding us, Smart Home Sounds is our other review channel. So if you haven't checked that out, you might want to go and see that. And that's what we've hit 100K on. So not quite this channel just yet, but soon come.
Hopefully so. So in today's episode, like I said earlier, we're just going to kind of, I guess, recap the year, really talk about some of our favourite products.
Yeah, well, we've just done a big video over on Smart Home Sounds, which is our top 10 cool tech of the year.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's our favourite products of the year. It doesn't necessarily mean it's things that have just come out now. But we've kind of taken a look at some kind of curveballs in there, aren't there? Just stuff that we think are cool. Obviously, we're in the mindset of buying presents as well at the moment for Christmas. And that's kind of raised some conversations in the office around stuff that we've all seen that's cool. But we thought we might as well give you guys a bit more of an insight into a few of them over on this channel.
So this year we've obviously reviewed quite a lot of tech, and some products we've managed to get around to, others we haven't. But I figured we might as well start by talking about our top 5s, and I think we might as well start with our top 5 headphones of 2023.
I think this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
We've all got slightly different opinions on this, haven't we?
We have indeed.
Do we want to go over what we all currently use for headphones, just to give people a bit of an insight in what we've currently got?
Yep.
Well, I'll kick us off. I haven't updated mine in a few years. I've still got the XM3s. I am well overdue an upgrade.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's currently what I'm using, is the old Sony XM3s.
I've got a little bit of I'm using between 3. So I've used XM3s, XM5s, and the AirPods. I've been using the Pro 2s, but also I'm still on the 3rd gens as well. It's like my daily kind of commuting.
daily drivers.
The daily drivers, yeah.
I'm on the XM5s, AirPods Pro 2, and more now the DVLA Gemini 2s, which I'm really enjoying. So I think all of us we've tried a lot of headphones this year, but I think none of us have swapped our sort of daily drivers, if you like.
I'm very tempted by the top one on our list.
Okay.
Should we kick off with that one then?
Yeah.
So our number 1 on the list has got to be the Bose Quiet Comfort Smart Ultras. They are kind of a new generation of the Quiet Comforts, which have been around for a long time now and a hugely popular pair of headphones. But these, for me, would be the thing that would tempt me away from my XM3s and make me want to upgrade for the first time in a few years now. We've absolutely loved testing them, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had both. We tried the Quiet Comfort first, then we went to the Quiet Comfort Ultras. And I think, for me, like my XM5s is like comfort wise. They just tick a lot of boxes. They're not the best at anything, but they're just good. And I think the Ultras were the first time I've actually thought, okay, maybe it's time to change the daily driver. But ultimately, I didn't.
No.
So
They're so comfy for one.
They look great.
They do look great, and they just sound brilliant. They genuinely did make. I mean, it's so cliche, and everyone always says it, but it actually did make me feel like I was hearing songs for the first time. Like you do actually hear elements in it that you hadn't heard on. I definitely hadn't heard on my XM3s. I mean, they're just. It's the sort of thing that you just want to listen to them again. It makes you want to put them back on because you really enjoy the experience of listening to them.
and we had them for about 7-8 weeks in the office, but we didn't get that review out.
No.
So, and I think, well, I mean, internally we discussed that. I mean, obviously they're 449, so they were expensive, but I think we tried them in all scenarios. We tried them training in sort of the gym for scenario, listening at home, work wise, Zoom
To come out
calls.
and about.
Yeah, so I think we decided, didn't we, in reality, that they were, if you're going to spend 449, just use them for everything.
Yeah.
They're quite durable, they're light,
yeah.
so
They're very versatile, aren't they?
yeah. And then you'd almost, they're expensive at 449, but you sort of justify that money a little bit more. I think if you're spending 449 just to use them at home for a bit of listeners, you've probably got a good set of headphones, or it's a lot of money. But
they do everything very well. I mean, I know they're expensive, but I mean, the noise cancellation is excellent on them. The sound performance is brilliant.
I'm just actually on Bose's website. So those 449, when we reviewed them, they're actually 399.
Already?
And now and this is on Bose.com. So, and then the Quiet Comfort, the originals, they were 349. They're now to 279.
Wow, okay. It's a good time to buy a pair of headphones, isn't it?
Yeah, so the Quiet Comfort at 279 are great. I think when we reviewed those at 349, we thought they were good, but they were just a very safe, sort of steady bet. I think at 279, that makes them a lot more appealing.
It does, definitely.
And at 399 for the Quiet Comfort Ultras is probably the best buy, I think.
Definitely. All right, number 2 on the list, probably yours, isn't it?
Yeah, the XM5s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think that Sony have, when they released those, it was sort of mixed about. Some people didn't like it, that you couldn't fold them down and stuff like that. But I think all in all, for me, I use these daily, and they just, like I said, they do everything well. They don't necessarily, they're not the best at one thing, but they just do everything well, and they're comfy, and I just don't see the need to spend more money and get rid of them.
I mean, Sony claim they're the best for noise cancellation, don't they?
I think there's a lot of that, the best for now that people are claiming. So I think it's, they're good enough. I don't need a better version of that. But yeah, they're still my daily driver. And I think, 2024 will probably be the time when they, they,
Get gone.
they bite the dust. But
For now, they're still definitely in our top 5 of 2023, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right, number 3.
Yeah, number 3, the Sony WH-CH720Ns.
I think we ummed and ahed between the 720s and the 520s. Because obviously, if you guys are unfamiliar, these are a much more affordable pair of headphones from Sony.
What are they now?
Well, the 520s went down to like £49 at one point.
Did they?
Black Friday, and then I'm sure that the
720s are around just under £100, £80, £90. So fluctuating.
So both well under £100. But we stuck with the 720s in the end because they are the performance is better. If you're looking for like a decent pair of sub £100 headphones, it would be the 720s we'd recommend.
Yeah.
But the 520s flew, especially for Black Friday, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think both just offer a really good option because headphones are getting ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And
I think for a lot of people, like we were talking about headphones here, they're 350, 400 quid. Like most people haven't got that kind of money. And I think to be able to, like, I've used those quite a lot actually. Like I took them out running the other day, which I know they're not designed for, but they held up pretty well, and I was quite impressed with them. They do, obviously they don't offer the same kind of premium feel or build quality like the other ones we've mentioned, but I think for that price, you can't really go wrong with them.
No, and you can't moan too much. They've got great battery life. They're pretty durable. They don't feel, obviously they're a lot cheaper than the XM5.
Yeah.
The build quality,
they feel that plasticky.
They feel a bit plasticky, but they're durable. We did try to, if you not break them, but we thought
they put them through their paces.
We did, and they held up really well. So I think, for the money, that's a product that you should be looking at if you want a cheaper, good headphone.
I think that the cheap headphone market, it's saturated, isn't it? But I think the benefit of buying cheap headphones from a brand like Sony is that trickle-down technology. So where they have got the ability to produce a pair of headphones like the XM5s, if you then choose to buy their cheaper headphones, they're not made from a completely different designers, and they have the capability of getting to that level of performance. And so you're going to get, I think you're going to get more for your money buying cheaper headphones from a brand like Sony than you would buying from like a random cheap headphone brand.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I suppose in that sort of cheaper category as well, we got the new Sennheiser Centiums.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do they retail for?
They are a bit more money, but they are, for me, a little step up in build and performance. I think they're £179. So have a look where they are now. So again, we're starting at £159.
Okay.
So they are creeping up a little bit more again,
Yeah.
but they're still, I would say, in that sort of more semi-affordable sort of price.
Yeah.
But again, I think they've done really well. They've
They're
sold
fairly
really well.
new, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a few months old, and I think, you know, that's a good option as well if you're looking at that sort of sub £200, some £200 category.
I mean, yeah, I'm just looking here. The Ascentiums have got a 50-hour battery playback, which is great.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
just for going on holiday,
Yes.
get on and off the plane, that
yeah.
does everything you need, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think we need to, like, people have different criteria for headphones. You know, if you're taking them on holiday, are you really critically listening on a plane, or are you just listening to a podcast, you listen to a bit of music? What do you want to do with them? And for most people, these are going to be more than enough.
I think I've noticed more and more recently how many people walk around with headphones on. When I went to New York a couple of weeks ago, everyone had a pair of headphones on.
Yeah.
When you walk around the shops, if you're on your own, honestly, everybody had a different pair of headphones on. And I don't think I've ever really noticed it. And normally it would be a pair of AirPods. But I was noticing how many people had over-ear headphones on walking around New York. It's crazy.
I thought that, though, interestingly, about running, because I normally run with AirPods. And then the other day I didn't have the AirPods, so I ran with, like I said, with those
The
WH.
520s.
Yeah. It was actually like, I felt the run was far more enjoyable. Like you got properly into the music. Like obviously, you know, got to be a little bit careful with the traffic and stuff.
Yeah, but they were good.
Yeah, really impressed. And like it was much more enjoyable.
And for anyone that doesn't know, Lou is quite fast at running as well. So it's
wind's flying past.
Yeah. So if I was running, I'd be plodding a bit more. So Louis would be moving to and forward. So that's a good barometer.
All right, next up then. So again, it's a pair you've mentioned, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're going more in ears now.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's the DVLA Gemini 2s. So obviously it's a refresh on the first generation. I tested the first generation back when they came out a few years back, and the case was big. They just felt,
Case was huge, wasn't it?
yeah, they just didn't feel, I don't know, they just felt that there was something missing from them. But the Gemini 2s, again, really expensive. They're 349. So again, that price is creeping up. But I don't know why with these, I've sort of, it's a funny thing to say, just I've bonded with them, if you like, a little bit more than normal. I just really like the sound profile. I enjoy using them. The build quality is luxury. Everything about them is really nice.
I mean, they look like a mini Phantom, don't they?
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think we will be doing more of that next
Yeah.
year. And I think they're really, for someone who doesn't just want to buy the safe bet of an AirPods Pro 2 or whatever, it's worth a look. If you've got that budget, if you've got that budget, have a look. Bass, I think that, you know, nothing rivals them in low end. I haven't heard any of the in-ears that rival them. Obviously, you've got the Bose as well, but I think, you know, these are definitely worth a listen if you're into your in-ear.
Do you think they have the same kind of sound signature as the Phantoms? Is that been translated across?
Yeah, I think is that obviously the Phantom, it's got that powerful low end. It's got a lot more than just that, but I think that's a sort of standout feature from there. You can bring it down, the vocals are good and stuff on it, so it does trickle down a little bit. You know, if I listen to it, because I know the DVLA, it's probably hard, but I would say they have got a bit of that sort of same signature sound.
We're loving DVLA at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think it's
good products this year.
yeah, and it's like you can't dress up how expensive it is, and it's not going to be a level for most people.
No.
Well, how much are the Opera ones? I'm just looking at that picture now. It's got the
Are the Opera
gold.
ones the white and gold ones?
So it's the Opera is
It's
the
got
Gemini.
gold leaf on it, hasn't it?
Yeah, so
Right.
it's the same headphone. It just has a gold case.
Okay.
So what's the
see how
difference
much
in
they are.
price?
549. You pay 200 quid for
The gold, yeah.
the gold.
So
It's 24 karat gold plated finish. I mean, if you want that, that's a hell of a luxury experience.
there's probably
isn't it?
some
How
people.
do
There
you
will
find
be
them
people out there.
in here?
I
Did they
actually-
stay in okay? Or
Yeah, they
like-
stayed in really well. So like when you put them in, you sort of like turn them in so they lock into your ear. So I really like them. They were good.
These Opera ones are cool.
And I think they look cool as well.
They do, yeah. They definitely look different, don't they?
It feels like a premium package. If you're paying a lot of money for something like that, one, you want a bit of performance to go with that, and two, you want to feel a bit of build quality. And I think they've got that. I think they've done a good job of that. You know, and I'm excited for next year.
And
with
they've
DVLA.
slimmed the case as well, haven't they?
Yeah, it's really small. It's more or less like an AirPods sort of style
Oh, funny
size
you
case now.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Final up on our
The last
fifth
one.
yeah.
The AirPods Pro 2. So I think we've all been very impressed when we've tested these out over the last couple of months or so.
And I think it's a safe bet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've tested loads, but it's just, you know, like I have the XM5s, I use them when I'm working a lot, Zoom call, but the AirPods Pro is something I just take everywhere because they're constantly in your bag. They're easy to carry, and they sound really good. The noise cancelling is great. I use them to run. I use them in the gym. So for me, it's a safe all round.
I think the reason why I love AirPods, like they might not be the best, but they just work all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
and
they're just
if you're in the
That
Apple
Apple
ecosystem,
Yeah.
But you do get to the stage where it's like do you just keep it's
just stick with what you know, or try something a bit different.
Yeah, and I'm just imagine there will be people out there that just won't buy anything Apple.
Yeah.
So that's why things like the Gemini 2s are really good for those people, which is fair enough, which I think leads us quite nicely onto 2024 for headphones.
Yeah.
Obviously, AirPods Pro 3 or whatever they're going to call them, that's going to come.
Yeah.
The new version of the in-ears, and probably staying on the Apple theme, I should imagine some new AirPods Max will be coming.
That's pretty much confirmed online, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I thought they were going to bring it. A lot of people thought 2023 they were going to bring new AirPods Max. So they've kept it. And to be fair, there's a lot of people you see wearing those. I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, and they're huge as well. When you see them on people's
and they're quite heavy, and you see a lot of. Well, maybe they're dupes, but you see a lot of young people wearing them, college students, and they're a $550 pair of headphones.
They've got the money for Apple, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. And that's when. But we've said it before. If you look at the Apple headphone business, they're bigger than Uber and Shopify in just the headphone. We've flashed it up on screen because everything's like no one believes that.
No,
so, but just if Apple just sold AirPods and AirPods Max, they would be bigger than Uber.
But then again,
Shopify.
it just comes back down to that usability. Like I have my AirPods in my bag everywhere I go. So if someone rings me, or if I want to listen to a podcast, it's the easiest way of doing that.
Yeah, and it's I use the one ear quite a lot.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It means you can kind of do half in, half out.
Yeah.
So we've obviously from Bose, we've had the quiet comforts. Realistically, I don't know that we'll see much in the higher end market from Bose next year. I think that probably was their move this year. But Sony haven't seen anything new this year. It was XM5 was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So XM6 has to be this year in reality.
2024.
Yeah. So obviously all of us really are sort of preferred all-rounder. So really interested in the XM6. Obviously AirPods Max, be interesting to see what the price is on the AirPods Max as well. Same as what Sony come in at. Like I said, nothing from Bose, but I mean, it seems, maybe, I don't know. It does seem strange that they'd release both of those and then nothing this year, but yeah.
Well, it was a quiet year in the headphone market this year, so I wonder if next year we'll see a bit of a boom, and then are Bose going to feel like they've missed out or are they ahead of the game? And people bought Bose because there's not a lot of other options of new stuff this year, and then they'll be done now. So what's there to buy next year?
And to be fair, we haven't mentioned Bowers and Wilkins in this. Obviously, they're the PX7 the Mark IIs. They're a really good headphone, really nice. I think for us, they were they sounded a lot better than the XM5s.
Yeah. It's just the comfort with them, isn't it? They just clamped a bit more, which
maybe I got a big head, but for me they just didn't feel that as comfy as the others. So I think you never can take your eye off Bowers and Wilkins, I think, in that market, in the headphones market. So I think they're bringing something else.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's going to be big, and then obviously, I think we're all sick of Sonos headphone rumors with that. So whether they bring anything, I think we'll have to wait and see. I think we've had the rumor mill is probably run dry on those headphones now. So I think if they do bring something in 2024, the amount of time it's took them, I think they'll be special if something comes, or they won't come at all. No. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Definitely. Well, exciting year in 2024 for headphones, hopefully.
Definitely.
But for now, the 5 we've mentioned, so we've got the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras, the XM5s, the 720s/520s, the Gemini 2s, and the AirPod Pros 2 are our 5 that we've really enjoyed this year. Lots of other good bits out this year, but those would be our 5 top picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a great year of TVs this year.
It's been a big year for TVs, hasn't it? And we might as well start with 2 that we've just done a bit of a comparison video on. Again, for those of you guys who are just joining us, who've not found our main channel yet, it'll be linked below. Go and check this video out if you are interested. It was the A95L from Sony versus the LG G3.
I mean, this one that everyone waited 12 months for.
Yeah.
It was talked about from the moment they were mentioned. Yeah. That comparison's been talked about. It's why we went straight in with a comparison rather than a review. I mean, we had the G3 for a bit longer than the A95L. The A95L was late coming out this year. And the G3 absolutely blew us away. We've never seen a brighter OLED. I mean, it's so impressive. And if a bright OLED is what you're after, you don't need to listen any further to our top TVs. That is the one to buy.
Yeah.
It's also dropped down in price well over this peak period, hasn't it? So it's actually, it's been a hugely popular TV. Obviously with MLA, that technology is, I can't explain how impressed we were when we first turned it on. Like the text, the white text on the screen, everything looked awesome on that TV.
I think that TV is the sweet spot of performance and price. Yes, it's not the cheapest TV, but it's not the most expensive. I think that really does hit. If you're really conscious of maximizing your budget, then that's the TV. But obviously there is some people that the diminishing level of returns is a little bit higher, but then they're not worried about going a little bit more, which leads us on to what we thought would be its biggest sort of competitor, and it turned out that it was obviously the Sony A95L.
I mean, a very long awaited release. We waited a long time to get that tested. I don't know whether that was to Sony's. Well, I don't know if that played in their favour, if it was to their detriment that they missed the mark and people just went for the G3 because they were fed up of waiting, or do people wait and think, well, I've waited this long, I might as well get it now? I mean, we know that on our comments from you guys, when we put out our video on that, everyone was saying, oh, mine's arriving today, mine's arriving. So there's so many of you guys getting that TV. And when we tested it, there was no denying that is the best picture quality we've ever seen. Not as bright as the G3 in terms of like, if you get into the nit rates and the peak brightness, it didn't hit those levels, but it's still a very perfectly bright OLED for most spaces. But in terms of quality and the actual image, well,
I think with what was noticeable when we tested out here in the studio, like when we turned all the lights off, that G3 at times was like, it almost felt too bright.
I mean, you can scale it back, you can get to that level.
But like you said, like when we had the A95L and the G3 side by side, I think we were all in agreement that the more we watched, the more we all agreed that the A95L did offer an overall a better picture quality. Maybe the skin tones were slightly better, colour was ever so slightly more accurate, the contrast was better.
The details on that TV are phenomenal. It's literally like some scenes that were recently filmed movies.
And it's like we were saying before, like when you've got them both side by side, I think if you just walked into a room, initially you'd be drawn to the G3.
100%, yeah.
But it's that prolonged like watching for a couple of hours, and then you start to notice just these slight differences.
I mean, like we said in that review, it's what you're looking for, isn't it? Yeah. If you just want a really good TV and you don't want to pay over the odds for it, you buy the G3. If you're happy to pay top level prices because they are top level, then you need to go for the A95L really to get that level.
It'd be really interesting to know how many people, like obviously some people only buy Sony. I wonder how, and some people only buy LG. I wonder if any people jumped ship this year with those different models, because if you're a traditional Sony person, which I am, I was really, really torn. Do I like the G3? That's gonna be my next TV. And when the Sony A95L came out, I was like, actually, no, I am going to stick to that. But then since then, I'm like, the G3 works really well. I'll use it in a semi sort of bright space with a bit of sunlight. So I'm still up for debate. And I think the cost of the G3, what you're getting, like we said at the start, it's brilliant.
I mean, the A95L is starting to get a few discounts now, but still nowhere near to the level of the G3. So those are our top level TVs. If you want the two of the best, it's those two.
And then I think we've actually, to be fair, like a lot of people say, with the LG, you can calibrate it to look like the Sony, and if that's what you want to do, fair enough. I think that's there's no right. But then obviously we also get a lot of flack saying we don't cover Samsung so much or Panasonic against those two. So I think we've noted that. We have tested some Samsung TVs, and again, it's not that we don't rate any of the Samsung models. We think that there's some brilliant models this year, but we just think those two stood out.
The only thing we want to get done in the new year is comparing them with the S95C, because I know you guys want that comparison and we want to compare it to.
And the MZ2000 from Panasonic. I mean, a lot of people have said that's a really, really good TV. And I know you went to Berlin to actually see that at the launch.
Yeah, we saw it at the launch. It's hard when you're seeing a TV when it's only compared to the rest of the range. It's always going to look the best because it was the top of the range TV. And I want to get it in our showroom and put it head-to-head with our content, so it wasn't like demo content. But from what we saw, hugely impressive performance. Definitely one that we were like, really looking forward to testing that one out. It looks like it's got great potential.
But again, that TV in 65 inches, £3,000.
So it's not cheap.
No, so they're not. They're expensive TVs, but people do keep the TVs for a lot longer. But I think this is the first year after a while that the technology has really jumped. So it's making people think, okay, now it's time to go. Because it's TVs for me and not like phones. Obviously, you see some people in the comments say obviously you must change them every year. I'm probably every 4 or 5 years that I feel the need to jump is big enough. So I think one of this current, I'll be interested to see what comes next year, but I'm sort of getting tempted now by a new TV.
So obviously the two top level ones are then QD-OLED and MLA OLED, but I want to mention the Samsung QN90C. Not one we've reviewed on our channel, but one that we've really enjoyed testing. And that one is a combination of quantum dot and mini LED. So that's a slightly different type of technology. So if you are looking for a really bright TV and you don't want OLED, I know some people still have fears of burn-in. I'm not going to get into it now in this podcast, but there's a lot of technology behind OLEDs now to prevent that. But if you just don't want OLED, then I think that something like a Neo QLED like that QN90C is a really good, solid option.
And you're looking at 65-inch, model that around £1,500-1,600,
Yeah.
which is a really good price point.
Yeah, exactly. Just one I wanted to highlight, and that I actually think that goes into our top 5 too, as like a solid all rounder.
Yeah.
And Samsung offers some great, promos with half price soundbars and stuff this year.
Yeah.
So, I think Soundbar had a big finish to the year.
I agree.
I think sometimes they do get left behind with that. They don't get talked about so much, but obviously they have a massive following as well. So
Yeah.
I think even though we don't talk about them so much on the channel, we're fully aware, and we're always testing them.
Well, while we're on Samsung, one of our other top 5s is another Samsung actually, and that one is going to be the S90C. Now I haven't put the S95C here because I don't think for the majority of people the upgrade in price is worth the upgrade in performance you get from the S90C to the S95C. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure the S95C will be perfect for people with the budget, but I think that the sweet spot sits with that S90C. I mean, you're getting a brilliant OLED performance from that one. You're not paying the top whack of the top level performance from that one.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting with Samsung. They sit quite the jump's big, but it's not too much of a jump between quite the sort of middle to high ranges. Like to go from the QN90C up to the S90C and the S95C, it's not a huge.
It's a couple of £100 from but that's because it's different technology.
Yeah.
Types. Same as kind of the X95L versus the A95L. It's just, I mean, it's just different prices of different screens, isn't it? But yeah, we've got QD OLED with that S90C. Again, we'll have to put those on our main channel to review them properly.
Yeah.
But that makes it into our top 5 for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can't decide on our 5th one. We're torn. We've got 2 more mid-range ones, and they are the LG C3 and the Sony X90L. And I can't really pick out of those 2.
What about the AATL?
Yeah, I would pick the C3 over the AATL.
Again, so that probably goes back to the debate of the Sony versus LG sort of debate. Yeah,
I think the C3, if we had to pick one TV this year that has been a bestseller, it is the C3.
Yeah, again, like the G3 is the performance. Like we think that's the sweet spot for the best performance for the best money. If you drop down a level, obviously it's still expensive, the G3, so it's not going to be everyone's budget. The C3 is that sort of next. Okay, I'm happy to spend this amount of money, which is still a lot of money. I think
we know it was a big seller because it went out.
Yes, it's been out of stock everywhere. So
which no doubt helped the AATL sales.
Yeah, would have done. Yeah, I mean that's still a great TV.
Both of those, if you're looking for like kind of like the higher level mid-range TV, where you're just kind of sitting just below those premium flagship TVs, the AATL and C3, I don't think you'll go wrong with either of those.
Would you go C3?
I would, yeah.
I would go AATL.
Yeah, you're Sony, aren't you?
I think from doing both of the reviews, probably the Sony.
Yeah,
but I would always go Sony over LG.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm in that kind of camp.
Yeah, but then if you look at the price difference, what's the price difference between the AATL and the G3?
G3 is 2.5.
Right, the 65 AATL is 1,900.
So what's the difference? So it's 2.5
quid.
£600. So for £600 it's a lot of money, but when you see those side by side, you're going G3. So again, I think all this competition is only going to be good for the consumers in the.
The C3, for context, this for the 65 inch, you can get for. Well, actually, it's the same price as the AATL at the moment.
Okay.
There or thereabouts. Obviously, there's different deals going on, but pretty much the same price.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough picking between this. I know that's another video you guys have asked for. It's kind of that mid-level comparison between the S90C, the C3, and the AATL. And actually, maybe this conversation has proved to us that we need to do that comparison.
Yeah, because we're all arguing.
We can't decide anyway.
I think what's interesting though is yes, it's hard to pick the TV that you want, but ultimately they're all really good TVs now.
Yeah,
there's no standout winner, so ultimately you can't really lose. So if you do have a brand affinity, you like using it, you like the interface, then either way you're not gonna be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the only reason I'm going to mention the X90L is because if you don't want OLED, we've basically mainly covered OLED in our top ones. And truthfully, that's because we prefer OLED as a group, isn't it? I mean, all of us would go OLED if given the choice. So that's why we've got those in ours. But I think the X90L for an LED TV, if that's what you're after, is a brilliant TV. Again, comes back to that Sony picture quality. You're going to be paying a bit more for it than you would for a mid-range LED from...
I think it's 1,200, I think.
Yeah, but if you're looking for something that's not OLED, I think that's a really good...
Yeah, and I think next year as well, I think we've already covered some of it on the channel, but TCL have got some really strong sort of performance stats on their new TV, so we're really interested to get those with a bit of real world testing.
We've been talking with TCL about doing some content for them next year, so I think we hopefully we'll have some more variety in terms of TVs on our channel. Unfortunately, we like LG and Sony and Samsung, so I think we'll try and get more variety on the channel. If there's any things we've not covered that you guys want to see, let us know. But from testing them out this year, those would be our top 5, 6, maybe even 7 TVs. But I think the interesting conversation now is, where do we go next? I think in reality, I'm not sure we're going to see replacements for all TVs next year. I mean, especially Sony, some of those models came out so late in the year that it seems crazy that, I mean, when did the announcements come out? April time? I mean, CES is in January. Be interesting to see what happens. Yeah,
well, there's a backlog. I mean, there's already rumours of the C4 being an MLA panel. So if that happens and it stays at a good price, it's going to that's going to be a hard decision then on the sort of an A95L versus a C4 with MLA panel. What's that going to look like? Where's the G4 going to go? So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, Panasonic, I think they're quietly sort of coming up the outside with some new models and some new technology really pushing. So I think next year is going to be a brilliant year for a lot of content to come.
I mean, it's interesting to know whether the brands like Sony and LG have almost peaked in it at the moment for what's available technology-wise. You've got MLA, QD OLED, Mini LED, although that seems to have gone a bit quieter this year. And it's interesting to see whether the other brands like Panasonic and TCL now rise to compete, but at a more affordable level. And therefore, if they can match the performance, they might start to take sales from those bigger brands. So yeah, definitely an interesting year. Who knows which way we'll go. I mean, personally, I think I'd love to see a combination of MLA and a QD OLED. But
and it'd be nice to start reviewing TVs from these other brands that we've mentioned, rather than, the LGs and the Sonys every year. It'd be nice to get some other stuff in and see how it competes.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving on then, we're going to talk about our top 5 portable speakers of 2023. And I think the one that I really want to start with is probably my favourite, which is the Flip 6. And I know that I have put quite a number of JBL speakers through their paces in different review videos over the years. And the Flip 6 just never fails to disappoint. I know you've got one at home, which I absolutely battered for a video. And I think, is it in the it goes into the sauna, it's in the bathroom,
it goes everywhere. It's just, to be fair, like, we've smashed that speaker to hell and it just keeps going. And I think portable speakers for us, Lou, going into that, I think people get really hung up on it. It's a portable speaker. Have a bit of fun with it. Like, it's not critical listening. We love testing them. We really
that's probably our favourite type of reviews.
But like the comment, people get really intense about it. And it's like, it's a bit of, which is
great.
But for us, it's obviously if something's overpriced and it's ridiculous, we'll let you know. But I think it's emerging into the 2 categories of portable speakers now. I think, do you all agree?
The lightweight and the heavyweight.
And the heavy duty,
where the lightweight is chuck it in your bag, move around, Flip 6 style.
Perfect.
And then we've got the heavier speakers, sort of like the Sonos Move, which is designed to be moved more around your house and your garden. So I think it's definitely emerging into those 2 categories.
I think what we've noticed this year is it's been more focused on the heavyweights this year, hasn't it? Right, in terms of new releases. I mean, we mentioned the Flip 6 as one of our top 5. That came out in 2021. So that is overdue an update. And actually, I really felt like that was going to come out this year, but I think JBL went with their what's the other range?
The Authentics.
The Authentics instead. Again, heavier weight. I mean, I saw them in a shop the other day, and they are huge. They're not little like portable speakers like the Flip 6, but then have JBL kind of perfected the portable speaker for now. It's quite hard to know where to go next with them. But either way, that Flip 6 is pretty tried and tested in our top 5, and it's not budging at the moment. Until that gets a replacement or something else comes to top it out, that for us is a real non-mover in that top 5.
And I suppose, I mean, audio, you can probably improve it a little bit. Battery, the technology's definitely come on, so you can get better battery life. I know with the Charge 5, they've added Wi-Fi, but I think there's with those Flip 6, we don't want Wi-Fi in there.
You want it cheap.
You want
realistically, I don't want to be spending more than 100 quid on a portable speaker.
No, I think that's a really good price point. And then again, if you want the sort of home ones, then up it a level.
Definitely. So I think Flip 6 number 1, and then our close second is the Bose SoundLink Flex, and quite often we flip those 2. We still can't really decide which is our top one. Again, slightly different speakers. The Bose SoundLink Flex not quite as portable.
No, I think it's like use case again. Is it like the reason why I prefer the Flip 6 is not necessarily sound quality, because I think the Bose does offer better sound than the Flip 6, but the Flip 6 is far more portable, and I think a lot more. I give the Flip 6 a much harder time when I use it than I do with the SoundLink Flex. I'm a little bit more cautious with the Bose than I am with the Flip 6, and that's why I prefer the Flip 6. But I think sound quality wise, the Bose is the better.
You just
the
feel
better
really safe taking the Flip 6 anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'll just take the Flip 6.
Who
Doesn't
cares?
care.
If you,
Yeah.
If you drop it,
Yeah.
you literally go,
Which is exactly what I want from a portable speaker.
Yeah.
But like we said, that Bose Sounding Flex, although it's nowhere near the same size as like these other speakers that would classify as more heavy duty, I do see that as being, I like when I'm using that, I do take a little bit more care.
I think it's the
with
grill,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah. Because I don't want to get it scratched, indented, and whereas the Flip 6, I just chuck that about.
And that is the same as our third portable speaker, really, isn't it? We've got the Emberton 2.
the Edmonton
So
2.
I think
Yeah.
that one is such a popular speaker. The design of it's very different. It's got great sound quality. But again, I wouldn't throw that and not care about it dropping because I wouldn't want to ruin how it
don't wanna
looks. Because
yeah.
it's such a nice looking speaker.
Aesthetic speaker.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for a bit of a blend of aesthetics, it's something a bit cooler, a bit different, and it's got really good performance, great battery life, then Emberton 2. That's why it's in our top 5. I mean, it does a great job.
And Marshall released the Middleton as well, which is the more of their heavy duty one,
Yeah.
which sounded great. But again, that's more,
It's a different type of speaker, isn't it?
And I think, again, it's what you want, isn't
Yeah.
it, really? And there's no right or wrong. And,
No.
I think there's been a lot of arguments in the comments of our our portable speakers video. So, I mean, it's,
Well, I think, I mean, talking about ones that are slightly bigger, getting into that heavy duty category, we obviously had the Move 2 not long come out, which we've been well, I mean, there was some slight upgrades, wasn't there, over the original Move, but something that we've definitely enjoyed testing that one out and had some fun with it. And again, they are the speakers then that you are that is just in your house, that is in the garden, that like trying to take that away on holiday with you, like the weight of it, you want to keep those in
Different
around the house, don't
yeah,
you? Like,
yeah. I mean, I had the Move 1 and I've never took it out of the house.
No.
I mean, you've got to be prepared to. That's the last thing I want to put in my bag and carry it around. Yeah, you already got
Weight
enough to
session.
carry. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, but for around the home, great, absolutely
Yeah.
perfect speaker, works well.
We said a great entry into an ecosystem if that's what you want to get into.
Yeah,
So
And obviously, there's loads of other heavyweight portable speakers.
Oh.
We could have a top 15.
Oh,
really.
and we did actually do a bit of a comparison on the channel.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that one out, that comment section is definitely highly debated.
yeah, yeah,
That's what happens when you try and score things on design because everyone's got different opinions.
yeah.
But and then the last one was the Motion Boom Plus.
yeah,
from
we just
Soundcore.
loved it, didn't we?
I
Yeah.
think the whole motion range, the Soundcore range, to be honest, we tested
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
a few of them. I think
I think when we first got it, we weren't expecting much.
No.
Truth be told,
Yep.
it is plasticky. It definitely feels cheaper, but it is brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, you don't really care about dropping it because it really does feel like it's going to be fine.
No.
And the sound performance for what you pay, it's like £100 at the moment, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
For the Motion Boom Plus, what you pay for the quality of performance you get from that, I mean, it ticks all the boxes. If you just want something you can grab, I take it everywhere with me. I take it to hockey games. It's perfect for that.
Yeah, and I think again, we talked about the TVs. If you want to maximize your budget with sound, look at Soundcore.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and even the Motion 300 we tested that
300, yeah.
almost is a similar build, similar size to the Bose. Again, for the money, that was really good, really impressive speaker.
Yeah.
So I think if you're looking for a portable speaker and you want to maximize your money, look at Soundcore.
Yeah.
I think they're really good, and I think there's a lot of content around them, but I definitely would have a look at those for a sort of cheaper option.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully we'll have a good year of portable speakers next year because we didn't see a lot of new releases in that lightweight category. I don't think we'll see many more heavyweight for a bit. But in terms of lightweight, I'd love to see a new
Well,
Flip
and
7.
it's one of our favourite videos of the year to go and film as well.
We didn't.
So-
We didn't do it this year.
No,
did we?
I
It's
know.
the first year in years we haven't needed to do our portable
Annual
speaker
portable,
comparison because we didn't know what to put in it.
Yeah.
And maybe brands will alternate. Maybe they'll go heavyweight one year,
Yeah.
and back
Come
to
back.
more portable this year.
We could see a Flip 7. We could see a new Bose. We could see a new Marshall,
Yeah.
and maybe a new Sonos. I mean, you don't know where you could go.
It'd be a
with
massive
it.
year.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be
Hopefully it
interesting.
is.
Yeah, I don't know. Do people upgrade their portable speakers?
Depends if you break it or not, I guess.
Yeah, Louis the Speaker Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go through quite a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, that's a good question to ask everyone. Do you
Yeah.
do you
How often
upgrade
do you
your
upgrade it?
Yeah, do you upgrade it? I mean, that Flip 6, we've had that 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd change that.
No.
No,
I guess
not
it
at the
depends
moment.
what people bring out now. I mean, but again, you don't want to bring out so many features that they become really expensive because you think, well, I don't want to spend £200-300 on a
So don't
portable
break
speaker.
it.
Yeah.
I've also
Yeah.
already got one for less than £100 that works fine. So
Yeah.
interesting. Right, on to our cool tech then, our last category. So last video of the year on our main channel is our top 10 pieces of cool tech of the year.
Yeah.
We threw in a variety of different things in it, really. Things that we've been testing, things that we've reviewed already, things that we just randomly found and wanted to put in.
Yeah. A couple of curveballs.
We won't go through them all here because I think you guys should go and watch that video, but we will just pull out a couple of them. The first one of which is just behind us. Do you want to grab it?
Yeah, should I grab it? Yeah, this is the mood blocks.
So I think this is a really interesting concept. This is almost, I think it's, I mean, we talk about divided opinion. This divided a lot of opinion.
It sure did.
There's another great comment section on this video.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's what they try to do is bring, obviously, the tangible side of music. Yeah. Obviously, they've seen the success of vinyl, and they're like, what can we do at a cheaper price point and leverage the digital medium, world as well, really? So, I mean, do you want to do a brief synopsis of what that is, Lou?
Yeah. So essentially, you've got mood blocks and mood play. So essentially, you've got this this base here, and ultimately, this connects up to your Sonos ecosystem, and then you've got these little mood blocks. Now, this one here is one of the Sonos radio hit lists, but you can have, I think they've got 25 different colorways, and you can set your own playlist to these mood blocks as well. And then simply, once this is connected up to your Sonos ecosystem, you just pop that in there. And then you've got a volume control dial, play pause as well when you press that down and up. And yeah, you basically got all your control and functionality on here. You've got an app as well, but it basically just allows you to play music around your Sonos system, but it offers, like you said, a little bit more of a tangible music experience.
And they're actually made of vinyl, aren't they? The mood blocks, if you like.
Yeah, because that was the main comment. Well, I've got my phone, so I can just do all of this on my phone. And you can.
Or I've got my voice and I've got an Alexa.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, you do not need this. It's 200 quid and you don't need it. This
No.
is just a nice extra. It's a good gift.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just quite cool. And I mean, and we kind of went down the route of like, you can start to build up a little bit of a collection like you would with vinyl, a little bit of a collection of different mood blocks. And
it looks nice
have a
too.
bit more fun with it.
I think it's use case as well
Yeah.
on two scenarios. So for me, if I have probably 3 playlists that whenever I listen to music, I put them in probably one of those 3, and then I listen to those 3 on shuffle all the time. I think for me, I could save those 3 to 3 different mood blocks, different colors.
Yep.
In a couple of my rooms, I have ceiling speakers, so I've got Sonos amps, so I've got no voice. So for me, I have to get my phone out. So for me to have my favorite playlist on here, put that into there, I've paired it to my kitchen ceiling speakers and it plays automatically. Probably would work. But that's for me in my use case.
Yeah.
In the app, you set it up and you pair it to your phone, so it automatically plays. So whatever speaker you've got. So I think it's a really nice concept. I think it's a bit of fun. Again, it's, you know, the build quality of it's good.
It's
like
good,
when we first heard about it, we were like, is it a bit of a gimmick? But when you get it in your hands, you realize they haven't built it like a gimmick.
No, it's built. It's premium. And it actually feels like the Sonos brand. Like that. If someone told me Sonos had made that, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
I think the big difference is that it works with Sonos, so it's properly certified to work with Sonos. So Sonos have okayed that, so they wouldn't want their name brought into that. So I think that's for someone who loves Sonos, that's definitely something to look at.
And like you said, from the other point of view, like if you're an artist, it's quite cool. Like you can put your playlists or your demos on mood blocks and send them out. And again, like, I know you can do that with CDs or with vinyl, but it's just something a little bit different. And
well, like cool. Imagine your favorite DJ, or like we said like Joe and the Juice. People love their playlist. They could do an exclusive playlist that is just on there and send them to people, and they can just use it. So you can be really interesting to see where that goes. Again, something different. You know,
it's niche, isn't it? It's definitely a niche, but we wanted things like this. If you like it, you love it. So I think we wanted to give you guys a bit of an insight and see it.
And if you don't like it,
you probably hate it.
And we've heard from those as well, which is which is great.
So next up, then, one of the products that we're very much looking forward to reviewing in 2024 is the Ruark R810. Now we've not long had this in the studio; it's literally been a couple of days.
It's right over there. You just can't see it off camera.
It's tucked away over there. But yeah, this is a product that we're really excited about, and I think you can't talk about this without talking about the design first and foremost. It's kind of like pays homage almost to the old radiograms of yesteryear, but it's kind of designed and packaged in like a slightly modern kind of enclosure, I guess. And then you've got the LCD screen on the front, you've got the rotor dial on the top, you've also got another rotor dial that comes with it as well. We kind of described it previously. It's like a little bit of a UFO kind of looking controller. Like, it's a really cool product, and we're really looking forward to testing this one out.
And it basically is a piece of furniture that is a speaker. And we'll flash it up on screen what it looks like.
We'll show some photos.
It's the bigger brother to the R410, isn't it? So it's Ruark's new 100 series, and they all have the same look and feel to them. These are the first 2 products. We presume there'll be more, but we have reviewed the R410 on our channel. If you guys want to go and check that out for now, if you want to, while you're waiting for the R810 to come out. But we really enjoyed the R410. Again, more I don't want to say niche. I think a lot of people will like it, but it is a different type of product. And I think that you need the right space for it. You need to have the right use case for it. But if you like it, I think it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, and I think initial testing, it sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
So it sounds good. It looks good. Is it for everyone? No, but it's different. And I think that's, fair play to them for doing it. It's something completely different. And if you want that kind of product, it's out there for you now.
Yeah.
So I think stay tuned for that, and we'll have the review.
Yeah, good one, that one.
I think the next one is a fun one.
I've got 2 fun ones.
Yeah.
The curveballs.
Yeah.
So do you want to do that on them? Because you
Yeah,
can't.
well, I've got it here.
Because before you couldn't do.
Well, I haven't got the app, so I won't still be able to do it. But this is a Rubik's Cube, if you can't tell. Again, really random for us to have on the channel, but we were doing some Christmas shopping recently and we saw this. And I've never been able to do a Rubik's Cube. And here is one I've made earlier.
How long did that take?
Oh, it's about 2 minutes, isn't it, with the app?
Yeah.
So basically, you connect this up to your app, and it's really intelligent. You have to start with it on a certain angle, and then it knows exactly where every single coloured square is. When it tells you to turn it right one, left one, top one, bottom one, and no matter how much you've messed it up, it'll get you back to this in a couple of minutes. It's normally like 20 moves, isn't it?
It's between, I've had a couple of goes in it, it's between 15 and 21, 22 moves.
Yeah.
But
which is mad that you're that close to it when you've got it and you don't know it.
Yeah.
See, what I love about this product is, one, that anyone who's wanted to do a Rubik's Cube has now got an app to help solve it.
It does feel like cheating though.
But that's why I love it, because people will absolutely hate it. So I can guarantee you in the comments, they will be like, you've ruined everything about the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
And there'll be people that have mastered it.
Lois can do it in the office, can't she?
So there'll be people who's mastered it who are like, I can't stand this. No. But if you ever wanted to do it, you now can, and you can understand and learn why.
I thought it'd feel more satisfying though.
I know what you're saying, because the thing is with the app is, obviously when you try to solve it in real life, you can't, unless you've been doing it for years and you're one of the people who can do it in 4 seconds or whatever, you don't know what's on the reverse. Whereas the app obviously knows where every single color square is at all times. So you never rotate the cube either.
No, you hold it in one way.
You literally just solve it looking the same way, because it knows where everything is. But I was actually telling my dad about this, and he spent one Christmas back when he was 10, 11 years old with the Rubik's Cube, when he was off for like a week, 2 weeks, whatever, from school. And it took him that whole 2 weeks to finally figure out how to do it for himself. And when I showed him the app and did it in about 30 seconds,
just ruined it.
He was not a fan of that. But I think what's also cool about this, you've got the app, you can play against other people online as well. Yeah. So like you can go into like a beginner kind of category, and then you can literally race against people to try and solve this as quickly as possible. And there's loads of other games as well, so it's quite a cool stocking filler.
I mean, that's a prime example of how you sort of bring a product that doesn't need it, but they've just, whether you like it or not, an app's here.
I mean, back in the day, if someone showed you Rubik's Cube, it was like, one day you'll be able to use an app to solve this, and it'll be in the middle of that. You'd be like, no way, you can't make that smart. But there's a way of making everything smart.
But it is £50 as well, so
it is.
It's not cheap. How much? Well, I don't know how much is a normal Rubik's Cube now.
I think I literally saw one in Morrison's earlier for £4.99,
but not official.
So, I don't know if it was. I mean, I'm sure there's probably.
Yeah, I mean, they are like £8.
Okay. Yeah. So if my kids want for Christmas, I'll just say
they're getting the £8
they're getting the £8 one,
and you're learning how to do it properly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but people will either hate or love that.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
It's clever.
Yeah,
it is clever.
And I think so. Yeah. I mean, from a Rubik's Cube to another sort of pretty random thing. So this is probably more where I sort of enjoyed. So for tech wise, I sort of more enjoy the sort of biohacking well-being side of it, really. So I think this is a really sort of, obviously everybody's seen the sort of ice bath craze that's sort of going around the UK. There's loads of people about it, and most people probably have bought a Lumi over the last sort of year. So there's a new product, ice bath, from a company called Monk, where they're looking to sort of change the sort of ice bath space and that biohacking space around it. So they've released an ice bath, which is coming in a few months' time, which basically has a sort of like a ring light in the middle. And there's an app with it as well. So it learns you how to get from a certain temperature down to, so you can go from 10 degrees to 3 degrees, or whichever way you want to start. But it uses the lights to encourage you breathing. So obviously Wim Hof breathing style, you obviously have to breathe in when the light does, or whatever. I don't know about that or how it actually works, but the light is there to help guide you. Yeah, because it's all about breathing. Yeah, so I think what's really interesting about the Monk is obviously it's self-cleaning. It sort of regulates the temperature. It's almost just fill it up and turn it on and forget it.
Do you leave the water in there?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it filters it,
Is
cleans
it the first smart ice bath?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything out there which is linked up to an app. especially guides your breathing and helps you get down. Because obviously everybody hates, I don't know anyone that likes getting into cold water. I mean, we did some training for the when we were running that, and we did use this sort of Lilumi, and they definitely have a benefit. I think it's, and some people, you know, it's
even if it's placebo.
Yeah, even if it's placebo, it doesn't. I mean, but the Monk is £5,000, so it's a lot of money. But I suppose if, you know, it's something we may test on the channel, we may get one in, but it's a really interesting product, and it's I think we find interesting. Be interesting if people want us to explore that sort of side of tech. Tech is really now being pushed into sort of that well-being biohacking space, which for me personally is really interesting. As a middle-aged man, so it'd be really interesting to understand what if people are interested in that kind of thing. Whether it's, obviously this is expensive, but it'd be really interesting to see how that works, and whether you can start a protocol to get you down to a certain temperature. Just doing it regularly for 30 days, if it works, if technology actually really enhances getting into cold water, or are you just better off if you live near the sea, getting in a lake, driving to a lake to save yourself $5,000. But time will tell.
Let us know if you guys want to see more content about stuff like this, because we're really interested in it, but we didn't start on this. We started on audiovisual and home products, so we'd never want to put stuff out that you guys aren't interested in. But if you guys are, then there's kind of common ground here for smart tech, isn't there? So we could definitely look into doing more videos on that. Well, the rest of them we'll save for our video, so a little bit of clickbait. You got to go and watch the rest of it over there.
Yeah, make sure you check that one out. There are a couple of other curveballs, but like we said, some products that we have reviewed, and ones that we're hopefully going to be reviewing in early 2024 as well. So
and I think as 2024 goes, we really, this channel is about what the audience want to see. It's about the people watching, helping sort of guide that sort of session. We can only take so much from our YouTube analytics, but the comments really do help us.
Yeah, hugely.
So there we have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this final episode of Let's Chat of 2023. There'll be plenty more coming for you guys in 2024. As we said, we've got loads of new tech that we're really, really excited to review. Talk about not only here, but also on our main channel as well. So again, thank you guys very much for your support on this channel, and also on our main channel for getting us to 100k and all sorts of things. It's been a very successful year, and I think we're all just excited to have a bit of time off and then get stuck in 2024. So thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all in the new year.